Okay, dear students, today we shall discuss the hydrogen spectrum. Let us discuss one important point about the hydrogen spectrum. Basically, it is an emission spectrum and line spectrum. Now, how to get this hydrogen spectrum? Let's try to know hydrogen is not available in atomic form in the nature. It is available in the molecular form. So, let us take the H2 molecule in which there is a two hydrogen atoms are connected by the single bond. Now, when it is irradiated, means when it is subjected to the either electric discharge or light, whose energy is almost 436 kilojoule per mole amount of energy is required to break this bond, so that we get the two hydrogen atoms. Now, let's take a sample of hydrogen gas where many hydrogen atoms are present. When this particular hydrogen sample is subjected with light, white light, which contains 7 colors. So here different hydrogen atoms are there. They may absorb different quantity of the energy from the light. So they may go to the different energy levels. So when they absorb the different quantity of the energy from the light, the electrons present in the hydrogen atom goes to the different energy levels. Let us see the hydrogen atom structure. We know that hydrogen is the atom with only one electron. So this is the one electron present in the first orbit. And this is the second orbit, which is represented by the 2, third orbit, fourth orbit, fifth orbit, and it continues. Apart from the first orbit, rest of the orbits are only hypothetical in nature. So whenever the hydrogen sample absorbs certain frequency of the light, then the electron absorbs this light energy and it may go to the any one of the higher energy state. Next energy states are called as the higher energy states. So it may go to the first energy state or second energy state or third energy state or the fourth or fifth energy state. So the distance traveled by the electron just depends on the quantity of the energy it absorbed. So the difference in energy between any two orbits is equals to delta E equals to E2 minus E1. Here E2, 2 stands for not only second energy of the second orbit, but the energy of the higher orbit, and this is the energy of the lower orbit, or else you can represent it as a En2 or En1. So this value is always equals to h nu. When the electron is present in the higher energy state, it is always unstable. It can spend only 10 power minus 8 seconds of the time in any of the higher energy states, and it try to come back to its lower energy states. So while energy is coming back to any one of the lower energy state, either 5 to 4 or 4 to directly to the 1 or 4 to 5 to 3 or 3 to 1, any, or else 5 to 4, 4 to 3, 3 to 2 or 2 to 1. So while coming back, whatever the energy absorbed by the electron releases this energy in the form of the radiation. And once this radiation is allowed to pass through the prism, we get different type of the spectral lines. And these spectral lines are observed in the different type of the electromagnetic radiation regions. So those regions now let us discuss. And here you just cut the point like this and stretch this one. So we get the circular lines in the form of the horizontal lines. There we shall discuss. Now it appears like this. Imagine this is the first orbit, second orbit, third orbit, fourth, fifth and sixth up to infinite levels. So here when the electron is coming back from any one of the higher energy state to the first energy state, a series of lines are observed in the ultraviolet region. A series of lines are observed in the UV region. So these series of lines are named as Lyman series. And when the electron is coming back from any one of the higher energy state to the second energy state, a particular series of lines are observed in the visible region. So these lines are named as Balmer series of lines. And when the electron is coming back from any one of the higher energy state to the only third energy state up to here, a series of lines are observed in the infrared region, which is called the Paschen series. And when the electron is coming back from any one of the higher energy state up to the fourth energy state, a series of lines again observed in the IR region. These are called the bracket series. And when the electron is coming back from any one of the higher energy state up to the fifth energy state, these series of lines are also observed in the infrared region. These are called the Pfund series. And all these series of lines are observed in the infrared region, in that this is near infrared, this is actually middle infrared, this is the far infrared region. There is one more series of lines also which observed in the infrared region. These are called the Humphreys series. So Humphreys series means the series when the electron is coming back from any one of the higher energy state to the up to sixth energy state. So a series of lines are observed. These are called the Humphreys series. Now let's try to see the energy of each of these orbitals, each of these lines, and how to calculate the wave number along with the wavelength and number of spectral lines in this particular hydrogen spectrum. And one thing is to be remembered is the first orbit is always called the ground state. Ground state, or it is also known as the ground level. And n equals to 2 means when the electron is going from the first energy state to the second energy state, it is called as it is excited. And this energy state is called the first excited state. First excited state value is always equals to 2. And n equals to 3 means this is called the second excited state. And this is called the third excited state. And this is fourth excited state, and so on. Then excited state for any nth level, for nth level, the excited state value is equals to n minus 1 excited state. For example, if you want to know what is the excited state when the electron is in the fifth level, then it is 5 minus 1 equals to fourth excited state. So in this way we can calculate the excited state value for any nth level. Now let us see how many spectral lines are possible in a given series of hydrogen spectrum. So number of spectral lines can be calculated. Number of spectral lines can be calculated for an hydrogen sample. Sample in the sense many number of hydrogen atoms shall be there. So in such cases, the value is n2 minus n1 into n2 minus n1 plus 1 divided by 2, where n2 is the higher energy state from where the electron is coming back. Higher energy state. And n1 is the lower energy state up to which the electron is de-excited. So for example, if you want to know how many spectral lines are formed when the electron is coming back from the fifth energy state to the first energy state, then it is equals to 5 minus 1. Here also 5 minus 1 plus 1. So 5 minus 1 plus 1 means it is equals to only 5. And this is the 4. 4 into 5 equals to 20. 20 by 2 equals to 10 spectral lines. So 10 spectral lines are possible. Then when you want to know how many spectral lines are observed in a particular series, not complete hydrogen spectrum. So in a particular series, number of spectral lines can be calculated by using the formula n2 minus n1. Means, for example, if any electron is coming back from the fifth energy state up to the Lyman series first energy state, then how many spectral lines are possible? So here only 5 to, see here this is the 5 to 1, 4 to 1, 3 to 1, 2 to 1. So totally 4 are possible. So that can easily be calculated as 5 minus 1 equals to 4. So in a series, the number of spectral lines can be calculated by using the formula N2 minus N1. And there is one more formula for a single hydrogen atom. This is not for the 1 mole. For a single hydrogen atom, maximum possible lines can be calculated by using the formula again N2 minus N1. So in a series or for a single hydrogen atom, formulas are almost the same. Then how to know what does it mean by maximum possible lines and what does it mean by the series of the lines? What is the difference between these two? So let us discuss about this one. This is the first energy level. Imagine first energy level, second energy level, third energy level, fourth one, fifth one. So here n equals to 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Imagine the electron is here in the fifth energy state. Now maximum possible lines means when the electron is coming back from the fifth energy state to the first energy state in a single hydrogen atom. What is the meaning of the single hydrogen atom means? A single hydrogen atom may have only single electron. So a single electron may jump from fifth energy state to the fourth energy state, and fourth to third energy state, third to second energy state, and second to first energy state. So the maximum number of spectral lines possible here are 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 are possible. That means here 5 minus 1 equals to only 4 are possible. And you may get the doubt, if electron is coming back from the suddenly 5 to 3 and 3 to 2, 2 to 1. How many spectral lines are possible? 3. These are not maximum. Maximum is always only 4. These spectral lines, now we are not discussing the number of possible spectral lines. We are discussing only maximum spectral lines possible in a single hydrogen atom. And number of possible spectral lines can be calculated in a sample by using this particular formula. This is different from this one. This is about single hydrogen atom which contains only single electron. Single electron may come either stepwise or like this also. So if this electron is coming like this, the maximum lines are 4. If the same single electron is coming from here to here, then in such cases this cannot be present. Only it becomes only 1. Then up to here, then here. So 3 lines, or else imagine from here to here or here to here, and suddenly from here to here, again 3 only. So you take any category, those values may be less than this one. So the maximum spectral lines in a single hydrogen atom are always equals to N2 minus N1. Now let's try to calculate what is the wave number. How to calculate the wave number and wavelength of these lines? Why? Because when the electron is coming back from different energy levels, see here, see the electron is coming back from the fifth energy level to the fourth energy level. So the lambda value is equals to 5 to 4, imagine, and this is equals to fourth to third energy level. So it is called as lambda 4 to third energy level, wavelength of this particular de-excitation. And this line is coming back from the third energy level to the first energy level. So we can say the wavelength of this particular line is lambda 3 to 1, and here it is lambda 2 to 1. Since these lines are observed during the de-excitation of electron between the two different orbits, so the wavelength of these de-excitation lines also different. So that's why the wavelength and wave number of these lines can be calculated by using the formula which is called as the Rydberg formula. So this Rydberg formula is only valid for the emission spectrum. this formula is valid only for the emission spectrum. The formula is nu bar equals to 1 upon lambda is equals to r z square into 1 upon n1 square minus 1 upon n2 square. This is the Rydberg formula, where r is nothing but the Rydberg constant, whose value is 109,677 per centimeters, and this can be written as approximately exactly 1.09677 into 10 power 5 per centimeters. Now this is approximately equals to, we can take it as a 10 power 5 per centimeters. So every time this entire value not necessarily be taken while solving the problem. Why? Because it is approximately equals to 1.09 means 1 only. So in such cases we shall get the answer also approximately very close, and this value is equals to 10 power 7 per meters, where n1 is the lower energy state and n2 is the orbit number of the higher energy state. So when the electron is coming back from any one of the higher energy state to the lower energy state, we can calculate its wave number or wavelength using this formula. Let's try to see for Lyman series. So for Lyman series, we know that Lyman series of lines are observed only when the electron is coming back from the any one of the higher energy state to the first energy state. So for Lyman series, n1 value, lower energy state value always equals to 1, and Balmer series n1 value is 2. Why? Because the electron is coming up to second energy state only. From the second energy state to the first energy state, this is called as again Lyman series. So for Balmer series, n1 value equals to 2, n2 may be any value. So we shall write that particular things here. 1 minute, let me write them. Series of lines, Lyman series, Balmer series, Paschen series, Brackett series, and Pfund series. Let us see the n1 values, n2 values, and the region where these lines are observed. So here n1 value for the Lyman series is always 1, n2 value may be 2, 3, 4, 5 up to so on, and reason is these lines are observed in the ultraviolet region. And for the Balmer series, the electron is coming back up to the second energy state, so n1 value equals to 2, n2 value 3, 4, 5, 6 up to so on, and this is observed in the visible region. Means these series of lines, only Balmer series of lines are visible to the naked eye. Other series of lines are not visible directly to our naked eye. And for the Paschen series, n1 value equals to 3, n2 value 4, 5, 6, 7 up to so on. So these lines are observed in the infrared region. And here Brackett series, n1 value is 4, and these values are 5, 6, 7, 8 up to so on. These lines are also observed in the infrared region. And here Pfund series is n1 value equals to 5, and n2 value 6, 7, 8, 9 up to so on, and these are also observed in the infrared region. Now let's try to calculate the wave number of each of these series of lines. For sample purpose, let us check some of these. So I shall take the Lyman and Balmer series. So for Lyman, n1 value is of what? Always 1, and n2 value may be 2, 3, 4, 5 up to so on, it goes on. If they ask us to calculate the wave number of the first line of the Lyman series, so nu bar equals to, we know that 1 upon lambda r into 1 upon n1 square minus 1 upon n2 square into z square, where z is the atomic number of the hydrogen or hydrogen like species or atoms. So in the case of the hydrogen, Z value is equals to 1, so not necessarily to be taken every time. And for the Lyman series, we are calculating the first line. First line is coming back from where N2 equals to 2, N1 equals to 1. So second energy state to the, second orbit to the first orbit it is coming. So now here nu bar is equals to R into 1 upon 1 square minus 1 upon 2 square. So here nu bar equals to R into 1 by 1 minus 1 by 4. So nu bar becomes now 3/4 of R. So this R value, do not try to substitute every time. You just wait till the problem is solved. So last step you can cancel the R values. Most of the cases it is easy to cancel the R values. So I request you not to introduce this R value starting itself. Now let us see here. Similarly for second line, third line also we can calculate. I forgot one point here. In any series, the first line is always called as the H alpha line, and the second line is called as the H beta line. Third line is called as the H gamma, H delta, H epsilon, and it continues. And to the maximum extent up to third line it is important. So alpha, beta, gamma, 1, 2, 3. In the Balmer series also the first line is called as the H alpha. Here it is H beta. Here it is H gamma, H delta, H epsilon, H eta, theta, it goes. So even Paschen series also H alpha, H beta, H gamma. So most of the time people say that H alpha, H beta, H gamma belongs to only Balmer series. It is incorrect. Why? Because H alpha means it is the first line. They have to mention the series. So if they ask us calculate the wave number of the H alpha line in the Lyman series, then it must be equals to the first one. H beta means second one, and it continues like that. Okay. So we can calculate the wave number of the different spectral lines using this particular formula. Now we are going to the most of the important content, that is energy diagrams. Let us discuss the energy aspects in the hydrogen and hydrogen-like species. We know that energy, total energy is always equals to, I'll write here, energy En equals to minus 13.6 into N square by Z square electron volt per atom. Okay. And in the case of the hydrogen, Z value is equals to 1. Sorry, this is total energy is equals to minus 13.6 into Z square by N square electron volt per atom. So in the case of the hydrogen, this Z value is equals to 1. That's why the energy of the orbit depends only on its value. Now let us see here. For the first orbit, the value is minus 13.6 by N square. N square means 1 square. So 1 square means only 1. So the energy of the first orbit in the hydrogen spectrum is equals to minus 13.6 electron volt per atom. And for the second energy state, it becomes now minus 13.6 by 2 square means 4. So this value is equals to minus 3.4 electron volts. And similarly for third energy state, it is minus 1.51 electron volt. And this value is equals to minus 0.84 electron volt. And for the fifth energy state, the value is equals to minus 0.54 electron volt. This is minus 0.85 electron volt. So these are to be remembered every time. So because it becomes very easy for us to solve these questions. And what is the energy gap between the second energy state and the first energy state, and how to calculate it? So the energy gap can easily be calculated using the formula delta E, that equals to higher energy state minus lower energy state. Imagine I am calculating the energy gap between the second energy state and the first energy state in the Lyman series. So E2 minus E1. So here what is the E2 value? E2 value equals to minus 13.6 into Z square by N square. N square means here it is second orbit. So I will take it as a N2 square, and E1 is equals to minus 13.6 into Z square by N1 square. So because I am giving the formula, that shall be helpful. Every time you don't need to write down E2 value, E1 value. A single formula is enough here. So try to substitute E2 value and E1 value here. So we get E2 value means minus 13.6 into Z square by N2 square, minus of minus, it becomes a plus. So it is 13.6 into Z square by N1 square. Let us take the 13.6 into Z square as common. So delta E value now becomes 13.6 into Z square into 1 upon N1 square minus 1 upon N2 square electron volt per atom. So this is the formula that helps us to calculate the energy difference between the any two orbits. N1 is the lower energy state, N2 is the higher energy state. So in this case, how to calculate if electron is coming back from the second energy state to the first energy state? So 13.6 into Z value is only 1, so that 1 square into 1 upon 1 square minus 1 upon 2 square means 4. So delta E is equals to 13.6, this is 3 by 4. So this value delta E is equals to, let's take the help of the calculator now. 13.6 into 3 is equals to divided by 4. It is 10.2. Okay. So the value is 10.2 electron volt. And this 10.2 electron volts we can directly get from here also. Like this. See, 3.4 electron volts minus of minus 13.6 means 3.4 electron volts plus 13.6 electron volts. So we get the 10.2 electron volts. So I will write down the energy gaps also, that is very helpful for us. The energy gap between the first and second energy states is equals to 10.2 electron volts. And first and third energy state, this value is equals to 12.09 electron volt. And now you take the energy gap between the fourth energy state to the first energy state, this value equals to 12.75 electron volt, and here this value means second and third energy state is equals to 1.89 electron volt. So we must remember some of these values in order to solve the question quickly. And this is about the hydrogen energy states values. And if you observe one thing, that when the here nucleus will be there, when the distance from the nucleus increases, the energy gap between the orbits decreases, and the last one there is no gap only, it is called as continuum. So n equals to infinite. So n equals to infinite means this particular orbit is not under the influence of the nucleus, whatever we are taking. So electron becomes completely free. So when you are taking the electron from the first orbit to the infinite orbit, it is called that you are removing the electron, that is called as ionization energy, that we shall discuss in the coming discussion. And this is about the hydrogen. What about the hydrogen-like species? In case of hydrogen-like species, the energy gaps and energies, how to calculate? It is simple thing that it has to be multiplied with simply Z square. You see here, this is the first orbit, and this is the second orbit, third orbit, fourth orbit, fifth orbit, and so on. N equals to 1, N equals to 2, n equals to 3, n equals to 4, n equals to 5. So n equals to 5. This is hydrogen-like atoms. Hydrogen-like atoms means which are having single electron, like He plus, Li plus 2. All these are having Be plus 3. These are all having the single electron. So for these elements, how to calculate the energy? You just see here, the energy of the hydrogen in its first energy state is equals to minus 13.6 electron volts. Now it has to be multiplied with Z square. Similarly, here it is minus 3.4 into Z square, and here it is minus 1.54 into Z square, and here this is 5.151, and here it is minus 0.85 into Z square, and here it is minus 0.54 into Z square, and the energy gaps also can easily be calculated. This value in case of hydrogen atom it is 10.2. Now here it is 10.2 into Z square, and here it is 1.89 into Z square, and here from here to here we can calculate this energy gap as 12.09 into Z square, and from fourth to the first one it is 12.75 into Z square. So in this way we can calculate the energy gaps and energy of the each orbit in the given hydrogen spectrum and hydrogen like species also. If you remember these values, that shall becomes very easy for us to solve the problems, or else at least this particular formula we have to remember. So this shall be helpful for both hydrogen and hydrogen like atoms, and for all orbits also it is applicable. Now let us try to check line of shortest wavelength and longest wavelength. Line of shortest wavelength, or it is also called as the shortest line, or it is also called as the more energy gap. So more energy gap in this sense, here you just see when the electron, in the case of the Lyman series, n1 value equals to 1, n2 value from where the energy gap shall be more. So from here to here if the electron is coming, this is the energy gap which can be calculated. But when the electron is coming from the infinite orbit, the energy gap shall be more. More the gap, more will be the energy and less will be the wavelength, so that it becomes the shortest wavelength. So now we can calculate the this one for all shortest wavelengths lines for any series. N2 is always equals to infinite. So when you take the 1 upon n2 square, it becomes 1 upon infinite square, whose value is equals to 0. So that is the one which we can calculate. So shortest wavelength means you have to remember that the electron is coming from the infinite orbit, and when they ask you the longest wavelength, if they ask you to calculate the line of longest wavelength, the longest wavelength means minimum energy gap. Minimum energy gap means in the case of the Lyman series, first orbit is n1, then immediately gap is n2 equals to 2. So the first line is called as the longest wavelength. So it is always for any series the first line. The first line itself is the line with the longest wavelength, and shortest wavelength means the last line. Last line in this sense, line n2 value is equals to infinite. Now let us see the graphs. Energy graphs here. Let us see total energy. So we know that total energy is equals to, that is En equals to minus 13.6 into Z square by N square electron volt per atom. Okay, Here energy is inversely proportional to the square of the orbit number and directly proportional to the square of the atomic number. Now, while drawing the graphs, we must try to keep either z as the constant or n is the constant. So, in the first case, we shall try to keep the z constant. Keep z constant. So, now let us try to get the graph. So, when z is constant, E is inversely proportional to the n square. So, when you draw the graph between the energy and the n value, then we shall get the graph. See, this is the positive region, this is the negative region. Here the value is the negative value and it is the square. So, you take the square here, energy on the x-axis and n values on the y-axis. So, we get the graph on the negative side like this. So, it is a rectangular hyperbola. Okay. Now, let us try to see energy between the energy and 1 upon n square. Here we have taken the energy versus n square, and in the second graph we take the energy versus 1 upon n square. So, when you take the graph like this, here energy, here 1 by n square, then we get the straight line like this on the negative region, and it should not touch the origin. The reason is n should not become 0. So, if orbits are not there, atom does not exist. So, that's why it should not touch the origin. Now, let us try to keep the n constant. So, when we keep the n constant, then it becomes now En is equals to minus 13.6 into z square. So, it is directly proportional to the z square. Then let us try to get the graph between En versus z, energy versus z square here. Now, graph comes like this. So, downward opening parabola. Here also it should not touch the origin because z should not become 0. Now, we shall take the graph between the En versus 1 upon z square. So, here also you shall get the En and 1 upon z square. It comes like this, it should not touch the origin, but it goes through the origin. So, this is the energy graphs with z square and n square. Now, how to get the kinetic energy graphs? We know that kinetic energy is equals to minus total energy. That means 13.6 into z square by n square electron volt per atom. So, here the positive value. So, you will get all the graphs their mirror images in the case of the kinetic energy, because here it is the negative value. That's why we got all the graphs on the negative side, here negative side. But in the case of the kinetic energy is equals to minus of total energy. So, the total value is equals to kinetic energy value is positive value. So, we get the graphs on the positive side, just like their mirror images. So, you will get see the graph, it comes like this for kinetic energy, and here the graph will be like this for kinetic energy, and here we get the graph like this. This is the kinetic energy. These are all just like mirror images. Kinetic energy and total energy graphs are mirror images to each other. Now, let us try to see ionization energy. ionization energy. Actually, we are not discussing the technical definition of the ionization energy. We discuss only about the hydrogen ionization energy here. We know that hydrogen is having this is the nucleus and the first orbit, and remaining orbits are hypothetical, and electron is present in the first orbit. Now we want to take the electron from the first orbit to the n equals to infinite. Infinite in the sense the nucleus attraction power over the this particular infinite orbit is equals to 0. Means we are making this electron free from the nucleus attraction power. For that purpose, we need to supply some amount of energy. So that energy must be able to break the attraction power between the nucleus and the electron. So here we know that the energy of the first orbit is equals to 13.6 electron volt per atom, minus 13.6 electron volt per atom. So here when you give the 13.6 electron volt per atom amount of energy, then electron will take up that much amount of energy and it will be ejected from the orbit. So the amount of energy required to remove the electron from the orbit is called as the ionization energy. So here we are taking the electron from the first orbit to the infinite orbit. So energy of the infinite orbit value is always equals to 0, and energy of the first orbit is equals to minus 13.6 into z square by n square, where n is the 1 and z is the 1, so that here we can take simply for first orbit minus 13.6 electron volt per atom. Now what is the energy difference here we are doing? The energy difference is called as the ionization energy here. This is the ionization energy. So ionization energy is nothing but the difference in energy between the infinite orbit with the other orbits. Here it is equals to E infinite. Sorry, this is E infinite. Energy of the infinite orbit equals to 0. So we get the 0 minus of minus 13.6 electron volts. So that delta E, which is we called as the ionization energy, equals to plus 13.6 electron volt per atom. That means ionization energy is always equals to the negative of the energy in any nth orbit. Why? Because minus of minus, no, this is equals to energy of the first orbit. If you are taking the second orbit, it will be second orbit energy, like that. So that ionization energy equals to minus of energy of that particular orbit. Now come to the binding energy. What is the difference between the binding energy, ionization energy and excitation energy? Are they same or different? So here we will mix all the hydrogen spectrum concepts once again. So in this binding energy concept, see, this is the energy first orbit, second orbit, third orbit, fourth orbit, fifth orbit and sixth orbit. Imagine the electron is in the first orbit. First orbit energy we have already known, minus 13.6 electron volt per atom, and the second orbit is minus 3.4 electron volt per atom. Third orbit is minus 1.51 electron volt per atom, and this is minus 0.85 electron volt per atom, and this is minus 0.54 electron volt per atom. It goes, and finally at infinity value it is equals to 0. So the difference between the binding energy and ionization energy is, let us try to know the binding energy. Binding energy is the energy required to remove an electron from a given shell. Means imagine electron already jumped from first energy state to the second energy state. So from second energy state you want to remove the electron. Means you want to break the attraction force between the electron in the second orbit with the nucleus. So for that purpose, how much amount of energy you need to give? Only 3.4 electron volts, not 13.6 electron volts. So the binding energy, the energy required to remove the electron from a given orbit, it is also known as the excitation. So here you have to give the only 3.4 electron volts, and when the electron is in the third orbit shell, then you have to give only 1.51 electron volts. When it is in the fourth shell, you have to give only 0.85 electron volts. When it is in the fifth orbit, you have to give only 0.54 electron volts to remove the electron, because the electron already reached this much area. Only it requires 0.54 electron volts to knock out this electron from the fifth orbit, and it keep on going. Okay, and here why? Because already an electron is absorbing certain amount of energy initially. You are removing electron from the last orbit. That's why it is called the binding energy. And when the electron is in the first orbit, then binding energy is equals to ionization energy. But from the remaining orbits, when you are removing, that is not called as the ionization energy. It is simply equals to binding energy. So that binding energy is equals to the magnitude of energy of the nth shell. It depends on the magnitude of energy of nth shell. So that value equals to simply 13.6 into again Z square by N square. Dear students, hope you understand the concept. In the next session, we are going to discuss the best questions from both the Bohr's atomic model as well as the hydrogen spectrum. Thank you.